We're going to be looking at an SAT question. This involves absolute values and inequalities here. Well, what's going on here is you have the ideal water temperature of reef building corals is between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius. And what they want you to do is find out which one of these four inequalities with absolute values is going to contain the 23 degrees Celsius and the 29 degrees Celsius. Okay, so to answer that, what you do is you have to, essentially, we should take a look at how you solve an inequality and then see what temperature is contained inside there. So let's take a look at the first one here. So what you do is you draw yourself a number line and you find the value of t that makes the absolute value 0. So what is the value of t that makes the absolute value 0? In this case, that value is 3, right? If I let t be 3, you have a 0 there. So now you say to yourself, okay, to the right of this value of 3, pick any number to the right of the value of 3. Let's say I picked the value of 5. If I sub a 5 into this inequality, it will be positive. And because it's positive, you can just drop the absolute value sign on your inequality. And then we can go ahead and solve this inequality. So I can add 3 to both sides, in which case we get 29. Now, in this interval, I'm getting the solution of t is less than or equal to 29. So in this interval, I have t is less than or equal to 29, which means if you combine the fact that you are in the interval greater than 3, the answer to the right side of the problem is this value of t is going to be greater than 3 and less than or equal to 29. Now you go to the left-hand side of 3 and you pick a number less than 3. You can pick any number you want. Let's say we pick negative 5. If I sub a negative 5 into this inequality, the absolute value will be negative, which means that it has to be multiplied by a minus sign in front, and then we solve the inequality. So I'm going to multiply across by negative 1, meaning we have to switch the direction of the inequality. Then I'm going to go ahead and add 3 to both sides, and I get negative 23. So now what we have here is the solution to the left-hand side of the number line. So the solution to everything less than 3 is it's all values of t greater than negative 23, which means this interval here is going to go from negative 23 is less than t is less than or equal to 3. You can put the equality on either this one or this one. It's fine. They're both the same. But at the end here, our solution to this, if you combine both these inequalities, I have an inequality going from negative 23 to 3, and then one going from 3 to 29. So the total solution to this is going to be 23 is less than t is less than or equal to 29. And obviously you can see right away that positive 23 degrees Celsius and positive 29 degrees Celsius are in this interval. So the answer to this question is A. Just as an example, if you try the other ones, like let's say you take B, for instance, if we would have grabbed B and try to solve that inequality, you would be drawing your number line. The root this time would be negative 3. Now I pick a value to the right of negative 3. Any number at all, you'll find it's positive. Because it's positive, what's inside the absolute value will be positive, and I can drop the absolute value sign, and then I can solve for the inequality, and I have t is less than or equal to 23. Because I'm in the interval, I'm choosing values of t that are greater than negative 3. My solution is negative 3 is less than or equal to t is less than or equal to 23. And again, I can choose to put the inequality, the equal sign, on the minus 3, or I can put on the other side. It doesn't matter. So now if I go to the left of this value, you pick numbers less than minus 3, and you sub that into this value, you'll find it's negative. And because it's negative, you have to put a minus sign out front. And once again, I multiply across by negative sign, and I subtract this time, I get minus 29. Now, in this interval here, we're going to go from minus 29t all the way up to negative 3, and I'm going to not include the inequality on that. So now if you take a look, the left-hand side of my number line is saying that all values of t between greater than negative 29 and less than negative 3 will satisfy B, and the right-hand side of my inequality is saying all values of t greater than or equal to negative 3 and less than or equal to 23. So putting these two ideas together, the interval is going to go from minus 29 is less than t is less than or equal to 23. And you can see here, if you look at this interval, yes, this interval includes the 23 that we wanted, but it does not include the 29, right? We needed all values of the coral temperature between 23 and 29. That happens in part A. It does not happen in part B. And similarly, if you try C and D, you'll get similar outputs. Obviously, I think for an SAT question, they probably want you to generalize this, which you can. You can generalize this and get like a general temperature, so you just can quickly add and subtract and see. All right, but this is how you would solve this question. Thank you.